Right. I'm going to talk about the science of habits. Honestly, I could talk all day on this topic. It's a very exciting topic. Um, but we'll present a couple gems today that I think will help you have a little sympathy for your brain. Your brain is actually really trying to do you a big favor by setting habits and making them hard to access. And then we'll also talk about a way to help your brain. It's not through willpower. Willpower really isn't enough to do it. You have to kind of know it. Tricks. And so, first of all, what is a habit? I'd invite you to think about a time where you stayed someplace new or relatively unfamiliar. Well, okay, now you're out of your element a little bit. You're not able to rely on your habits. So you have to think through your day. Okay, where is the bathroom? Where can I put my toothbrush? What am I going to eat and drink? Where do I get breakfast? All those things, you have to apply mental energy. And sometimes people don't even want to do something on their first day of vacation, but just kind of settle in. That's what that means. You're trying in this shorter span of time to bring up a couple new sets of habits so that you don't have to think through your day. It's draining. It takes time and effort. So your brain is, it's a good guy. It's doing you a favor. It's understanding that it doesn't want to use all that time and energy. You want to have fun on your vacation. So it's wanting to set habits. And this is how it helps. And what it does, in your entire day is filled with habits that long ago or recently have been just sort of set and forgotten about. So Judson Brewer is a researcher on habits, and he'll talk about set and forget. You set a habit and you forget about the details. You can almost go on automatic mode. And it is very hard to access and change set habits. And for good reason. We don't want to have to reopen that learning window and take all the time and energy. When you get up in a new place, you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot where the bathroom. Oh, yeah, it's down the hall on the right. Or, why do I make coffee with this coffee maker? It's kind of weird. All those things, your brain is trying to spare you from that challenge. So when we want to start a new habit, we want to change the dials of what feels good and what doesn't. So let's say if our habit is, we want to avoid eating sweets or something, so many sweets. Well, right now, sweets are dialed up, really high reward, really great thing to do. So your brain is going to prioritize that behavior. And you can't just say, no, sweets bad. That's not getting into the brain's reward system. Or broccoli good. How do you get to these dials? They're sitting in a safe. Our brain has, made kind of a little fortress around the habits because it wants to protect you from that time and energy. And willpower alone is like rattling on that safe, like open it, for goodness sake, I just want to change. I just want to make broccoli good for me. I should do this. I shouldn't do that. If you catch yourself using those should words, you're probably trying the willpower approach. There's a really great video. I'm not going to play it because it crashed my PowerPoint, but Judson Brewer has a really nice animation has been done on his talk that he gave on habits. And, here it's talking about broccoli, and you want it set at a high reward value, but it's not. And you want to lower cake, but it doesn't just happen. You need to go through a kind of brain hack. And in fact, this video is called Hacking Your Brain's Reward System. And our brain's reward system, it's very, very old. It's almost no different than a mouse. It has the same set of regions, nucleus accumbens, and other, midbrain regions are related to habits. And, what is new is this whole chunk of cortex. And so we think, okay, I have this self-awareness. I can willpower my way because look, I have all this brain and I can just tell my reward system what to do. But the reward system is operating like a mouse. It's doing the set and forget things because that's, what all of us end up doing. And so we end up using that, get kind of thwarted, and we use that tool to our own detriment. And we say, I want to do this new habit. And then when you don't end up doing it, you get angry with yourself. You end up hurting yourself with this awareness. Really what we're trying to do is solve a happiness equation. We're trying to, all of us, whether your dog or cat, whether it's, your friends, your enemies, everyone is trying to be happy and avoid feeling terrible. And everything our brain has learned ways that it feels it got enough feedback on to set it as a habit. Like, yelling at this person helps me get my way. That helps me feel happier. Or, drinking this coffee and becoming, slightly dependent on it, it makes me feel more awake. It makes me feel happy. Everything gets set up in this way, and we might have, either a short-term benefit or a long-term benefit. But regardless, our brain has assessed this equation and made some decision and set it inside a little vault. This is just what brain recordings look like, but it's all based on, you have a conditioned stimuli and a response, and it's set as a habit. What the heck? We end up, when we add consciousness to that and awareness, which we can gain from mindfulness, it ends up sometimes turning into guilt. Like we mess up on a habit, we slip up, I'm trying to avoid coffee, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just sort of mindlessly poured went through my coffee routine because I'm like, oh, I really need it today. And then you're back on the coffee treadmill. I have nothing against that. So there's an element of feeling bad. Like, I don't want to hurt my body. I don't want to be dependent on something. I don't want to hurt other people by losing my temper. But then it becomes more about feeling bad, about feeling. And so, you might avoid it completely, like, or give up hope. Like, I'm just like this. This is just the way I am. If you end up saying phrases like that, you might have this aversion to guilt. You might be actually trying to protect yourself from that terrible feeling. Again, your brain is trying to protect you. Or it might feel this long, protracted guilt where you just feel absolutely miserable by, slipping up on, habits. And, you feel like you have to keep berating yourself, because if you feel bad enough, you'll be motivated to change. But you end up kind of self-loathing and not rewarding the good progress that you might have made, and not understanding that slip-ups are inevitable in some way. And it's going to actually make you miserable. So that also is a habit that needs to be updated. You end up just feeling like, I'm a terrible person. I'm so stupid, etc. So in terms of hacking the brain's reward system, these are like electrical signals and neurons. You have a conditioned stimulus. You might even use something from your negative self-talk. Maybe you do say something like, I'm so stupid. Okay. Well, let's work with that, instead of just saying, oh, I'm so stupid for saying I'm so stupid, that could turn into a big loop. You could just say, okay, I'm going to work with that. My brain was trying to use, negative reinforcement, and fair enough, detected a slip up on the habit. Instead of like going down the rabbit hole with it, you could bring awareness. Oh, yeah, okay, I'd say that. What just happened? Well, you can first conjure a warm-hearted intention, like, I'm going to do the best with this. I be gentle with yourself. I care about myself and my body and my friends and family. I want to engage in a little different approach. Yay, you! Just noticing that and having a little awareness there is a win. Celebrate it. If you don't celebrate it, it won't reach into the brain's reward system. Celebrating it is the hack. And now you have a response. Okay, I'm so stupid. Oh, it's noble and human to feel regret. Maybe I'm going to work on something different to say, but I'm, going to, acknowledge that I have a conscience. I'm a good person. I don't want to hurt myself or others. And then, You have the bravery from doing some of those empowering yoga postures, from doing mindfulness and becoming friendly with oneself, doing self-compassion, doing other compassion. Those things can help us sit with that discomfort of, oops, right? And then you can think, instead of just pushing it away, because then you're not going to have access to your reward system, you think, okay, how can I update this? I'm going to think through how I can prevent this in the future and how much better that's going to be. That's rewarding. If you start to do that, celebrate that too. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's not going to turn you into an egomaniac. It's just hacking the way your brain works. You may need to make things right. You may need to set reminders and strategies, but you're doing this knowing it's going to make the world a better place, knowing that you're going to be healthier. Even if you're just working on your own personal habit, behaviors are contagious. It's going to spread. And in terms of strategies, the healthy choice needs to be the easy choice. So the blue zones was a study founded by National Geographic, in which they looked at the 9 places in the world that had people living the longest, healthiest, and also happiest. These people are, living past 100. And they are surrounded by good habits. The good habits are part of the culture, and they don't even need to think about them. So you don't have to think, oh, gee, they're doing, they're not eating junk food, they're eating a nice Mediterranean diet. Well, they're in the Mediterranean, and everyone around them is eating the Mediterranean diet. But if you start to make all hope isn't lost for those of us who aren't surrounded by that culture. If we do make small steps towards change and appreciating that it's not that easy, we're, kind of going a little bit against the current. As soon as you start to change, your changes will ripple effect. They'll help others too. So this is an example. This guy was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, went home to one of the blue zone cities, a carrier of Greece, to die, and he was surrounded by healthy food, activity, wine, laughter and relaxation and family and faith, all the things that characterize the blue zones. And he lived 4 more decades. He didn't have to think, oh, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to, relax more. I'm going to hang out with, he made a choice to move there. But really, those things just, became naturally inculcated because they were easy choices. So we can make changes in our life to make things more easy. So I'm trying to get the habit of drinking more water. I'm notoriously bad at this. But it would be wrong for me to be like, I'm just not a person who drinks water. No, I can access that. So I can get, a water bottle that I, like, and then all of a sudden that's a bit of a sacrifice, right? Like, oh man, I spent $30 on a water bottle. I better use it. Or I might have an app on the phone, which I do have. It's time to drink water, it says. Those types of things can be helpful tools. It's part of the strategy. You've sat with the discomfort of not drinking enough water and decided to do something about it to make it easier. But if a lot of sacrifice, so like you could buy a $100 water bottle or something, and then end up not using it and then fall into even more self-loathing, right? So that indicates that negative self-talk is a habit that should probably be worked on a bit, and also treating it the same way. That negative self-talk was a habit set by your brain for a good reason. It felt that it was going to help you do the right thing. And then you can use it as a trigger. You can, start to cultivate, mindfulness and that kind of playful curiosity, self-love and compassion, as well as identify the negative self-talk phrases. And, maybe your hack is just using them as a trigger. Ooh, when I start to berate myself, I can bring awareness at that moment. But really make a celebration out of every little win. Even if you became aware and then continued on your self-berating tirade, yay you, at least I was aware for a second. That's a step. There is a story about, analogy, man who walks down a block falls into a hole. And then the next day he's like, is there a hole around here? And it falls into the hole anyway. That was a win. He should have celebrated. Yay, I remembered that there was a hole. The next day, I'm going to try not to fall into the hole. Falls into the hole again. Okay, now he's applying some effort. This is a celebrate that one. And then even oh, there's the hole. Oh, I fell into it anyway. That's also a win. And so if you celebrate each of these steps, you can, reset the reward value of the good habit and of the bad habit. You're bringing awareness to the situation, and that's the way to open that door. So you might say, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm actually trying. I'm working on this. I'm trying. That's a good thing. Yeah, I use that to put some awareness. Oh yeah, I'm really hungry. I should have a Snickers, right? You can strategize for better success and celebrate every step along the way. Another resource I really recommend, Atlas of Emotions. It tells us how, emotion-related habits can form. And a friend gets angry with you, you feel angry, and you argue. Well, with awareness, and that's literally what it espouses, you realize, oh, yeah, that tends to happen. I lose my temper when I'm low on sleep or low on food, or that situation really reminds me of a past situation where anger helped. I have these triggers in my body. I feel really tense, or my heart starts to beat. Then you can start to, sculpt that behavior in a way that you want. So in some, you have a little panel in your head that has different behaviors and how rewarding and not rewarding they are. And in order to access that panel, you need to get through this safe, because the habit was protected, because your brain was trying to help you and keep you from having to think about things. But awareness can be the key to open that safe. And then you have access to the panel. You enter learning mode. You learn to hack your brain's reward system. And this can be done by celebrating each and every step along the way, celebrating even when you say, I'm so stupid, or, why did I do that? I'm conscious, I'm working on this. Increase the reward value of that whole process and of the good habit itself. Really enjoy that broccoli, really enjoy that money that you're not spending on the bad habit, understanding that it's going to take time, and you're going to slip up at times. Most people do. Realize negative self-talk is a habit just like any other, and you want to kind of secretly replace it. That's the end of my science talk.